This evening, Guyana achieves strong results in CSEC and KYIV examinations. President Ali, $170 billion needed to address 57,000 housing applications. 4 arrested in connection with the double murder of mother and son in Berbice. In the region, a wall of BRICS. The significance of adding 6 new members to the BLOC. And internationally, Ukraine Independence Day, SUBDUED celebrations in Kyiv and other cities. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for August 25th, 2023. I am Berbice. Thank you for joining us. Guyana's educational achievements were once again highlighted as the preliminary results of the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations were announced yesterday. Preliminary results of this year's Caribbean Secondary School Certificate Examinations reveal that Anna Regina Multilateral Secondary School student Alex Montaz topped the country with 27 subjects, 23 grade 1s and 4 grade 2s. Minister of Education Priya Manichan made the announcement as she released this year's results at the Anna Regina Secondary School. This is the second year in a row that the Anna Regina Secondary School caught the top spot at CSEC. This year, 12,118 students participated in the CSEC exams, representing a significant increase from 2022. The overall pass rate for grades 1 to 3 stood at 65%, with 24 candidates securing 12 or more grade 1s. Outstanding performances were noted in 14 subjects. This year, Naresh Jaganan of Queen's College emerged as the top performer of the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency exams. Jaganan secured the top spot with 9 grade 1s and 1 grade 2 in 10 subjects. KYIV results saw a slight dip in the overall pass rate. Noteworthy achievements include 100% pass rates in several units, such as Accounting Unit 2, Applied Mathematics Unit 2, and Geography Unit 1. The Ministry of Education plans to comprehensively analyze the results of 2023 compared to previous years to enhance the educational landscape further. We tell you now that 4 persons have been arrested and are in police custody, assisting with the ongoing investigations into the alleged double murder committed on 31-year-old Melissa Roquiam of Mangrove Street, Rose Hall Town, Quarantine Berbice, and her 8-year-old son Anthony Roquiam, a student of the Port Moran Primary School. The woman's 2 brothers, 33-year-old cane harvester Cyrano Roquiam, who resided with the victims, and 26-year-old vendor Nicholas Roquiam, the brother who discovered the victims' bodies, have been arrested. Also arrested are the woman's 37-year-old boyfriend, Shilandro Umro of Belvedere, Quarantine Berbice, and a neighbor, 38-year-old Dio Neris. The double murder occurred on August 23rd between 6:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. at the deceased's home. Investigations indicate that Melissa sustained multiple chop wounds to the back of her neck, a wound to the left waist, and one to the left upper hand. Examinations conducted on the child revealed several chop wounds to his right side, head, and face. The bodies are at the Port Moran Hospital awaiting a postmortem examination. Investigations are in progress. In other news, during the International Building Exposition opening ceremony at the National Stadium in Providence, President Dr. Mohamed Irfanandi revealed that the Housing Ministry's database holds approximately 57,000 applications for house lots. He stated that around $170 billion would be required to meet this demand by providing citizens with service lots and housing units. President Ali reiterated the government's commitment to affordable housing opportunities and outlined plans to develop thousands of new lots and homes in various regions. He acknowledged land availability challenges and highlighted the need for significant investments in infrastructural development, including new highways and roadways. Nevertheless, the president assured that the government would continue to put systems in place to pave the way for citizens to own their own homes. Stick around when we return. Ministry of Health clarifies dengue vaccine situation and urges media accuracy, and police raid leads to discovery of cannabis at home of Spiritfield coke knocker.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. Is why I gonna do here?
money, and you gotta get it fast. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
All we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and spice cake. For the noodles, all we will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, five spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radical went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a Guyana map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Health has clarified that it has not acquired any dengue vaccine for the National Dengue Control Program. While the consideration of using dengue vaccines in Guyana is underway, a definitive decision has not yet been reached. The two vaccines currently available are licensed in limited countries and are not recommended for universal administration by the World Health Organization, the US CDC, and EU regulatory authorities. The World Health Organization's Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization is studying dengue vaccine data, and Guyana awaits their recommendations before proceeding. Once recommendations are received, Guyana will collaborate with PAHU WHO for vaccine inclusion. The country's FDA is ready to license the vaccines once a decision is made. The Ministry of Health urges the media to refrain from spreading false health-related information. Ranks of the Guyana Police Force yesterday acted on information received and went to the home of Ralph Thomas, a 40-year-old pork knocker of Stewartville Housing Scheme, West Coast Demerara. On arrival, the ranks informed Thomas that their presence was to search for arms, ammunition, and narcotics. The police found nothing of evidential value on Thomas's body. A further search was conducted in a room occupied by the suspect, and police found a bulky black plastic bag hanging on a nail which contained 54 transparent Ziploc bags, all of which had leaf-seasoned stems suspected to be cannabis. Thomas was told of the offense, cautioned, arrested, and escorted to the Lenora police station along with the suspected cannabis. The seized narcotics was confirmed to be cannabis and weighed in the presence of Thomas, which amounted to 135 grams. Thomas was placed in custody pending charges. Don't go away after the break. Rohingya remains in fear 6 years after military crackdown in Myanmar, and Ukraine Independence Day subdued celebrations in Kyiv and other cities.
girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hello, my fellow TikToker followers. It's Credit, and today all we will be making Chinese noodles with peppies, chow mein, chicken fritters, and poised cake. For the noodles, all these will be using peppies, black pepper, cashew,
Chinese sauce, soy sauce, garlic sauce, paprika, Chinese seasoning, chow mein seasoning, white spice, and all-purpose seasoning.
Next, this chicken that we marinated, soak for all you wanna know nothing with peppies, green seasoning, miracle seasoning,
Pepper sauce, chicken seasoning, paprika, garlic powder, dark seasoning, black pepper, onion powder, and ginger powder, and document plantain flour, and then this butter we make with this quick piece powder, and we
boil in high. We serve with peppies, barbecue sauce. Radhika went to the supermarket and she proper buy up enough things. She feels she alone can cook, but she routine even wrong. She shaped like a Guyana map.
Peppies has a wide range of ingredients available at supermarkets nationwide. Peppies, we put the pep back into your kitchen.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CSEC exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Pearl Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. Leaders of the BRICS alliance of 5 nations have invited another 6 countries to join next year. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa made the announcement on the final day of this week's BRICS summit. Al Jazeera's Famida Miller reports.
This is the first time the BRICS bloc has expanded since 2010 when South Africa was admitted. The only African nation has been pushing for greater continental representation, and it's come in the form of new members Egypt and Ethiopia. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Argentina and Iran will also join the group from January 2024, adding to core members Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa.
We have to reform global economic, financial and political, as well as the multilateral trading system, so that we can create a conducive environment for fair trade.
The group wants its new development bank to offer preferential terms to developing nations for investment and economic growth. Agreement on who should join the group has taken months of negotiations.
We saw on the one hand certain countries that were really pushing for some of their regional partners. The most obvious case is Brazil. I don't think Brazil was very uneasy with the idea of expansion, particularly because it felt it would potentially lose a bit of its influence. So I don't think Brazil would have accepted that expansion without its southern neighbor. And then we have those 3 countries, your countries that are very important oil producers, but particularly have very interesting relations with the rest of the members.
Through its north-south corridor, new member Iran could link Russia to the Gulf region and ease access to Asia and Africa, while Saudi Arabia and the UAE would offer vital energy resources to the group. Some argue BRICS is engineered to counter Western-dominated economies and geopolitics. But Brazil and India say the bloc is not anti-West. However, some members have been critical of the United Nations Security Council, which the UN says it recognizes.
We need to address the fundamental injustices that are built into the current architecture of many international institutions. I mean, you take the continent of Africa, which is being doubly penalized in a sense. When the UN and its institutions were created, it was still under the colonial yoke, and it wasn't at the table when these institutions were created.
Despite international interest in the group, critics say there may be too many divergent views within the existing BRICS member states for it to reach consensus on important issues. It's likely there'll be questions around how effective BRICS, along with its additional members, will be, especially since individual states have had complicated relations among themselves. But analysts say what's vital to its success is a clearly defined agenda to ensure the group's influence. Famida Miller, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
It's been 6 years since the military crackdown in Myanmar killed thousands of Rohingya and forced close to 1 million to flee the country. The United Nations accused the army of ethnic cleansing as villages were burnt down. Al Jazeera's Tony Cheng reports.
For the Rohingya who remain in Rakhine State, life is lived day to day. No freedom, no rights, no work, sometimes even no food.
We have to be extremely cautious because we have almost no control over our own lives.
Just outside the provincial capital Sitwe, camps, housing more than 100,000 Rohingya. These were the ones who couldn't flee across the border to Bangladesh. In May, conditions deteriorated even further when Cyclone Mocha tore through the camps. Hundreds died, but Myanmar's military blocked essential humanitarian aid from the area. Many lost everything.
When it rains, the roof leaks, despite the fact that we have one tarpaulin sheet per house. We can't get to the clinic when our children are sick because the road is too dangerous. We're having trouble finding food because we can't travel to the sea. We don't have any money.
To say the least, we are in desperate need of a home. I am hungry. My child suffers from asthma. We don't have any money and are struggling to find meals. We don't even have kitchen utensils.
The army itself is now in complete control of the government. They still refuse to accept responsibility for what the UN has called a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. And their attempts to persuade refugees to return have been ignored. In northern Rakhine, Mongdo's clock tower stands at the centre of a city that appears calm and orderly. But for the ethnic Rohingya, even venturing beyond their homes is a risk.
Nothing has changed in terms of the safety of our lives. We are restricted everywhere we go. There are border guards posted to keep an eye on us while we're on the road. When we pass through those checkpoints and posts, we must show them a pass which allows us to cross from one village to another.
6 years after the crackdown, it may look like normal life has returned. But for the Rohingya still here, every day is a struggle to survive. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera.
And finally, Ukrainians started celebrating Independence Day after the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Troops marked the occasion with their first raid into Crimea, the Black Sea region annexed by Russian forces 9 years ago. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports from the capital, Kyiv.
Gesture of defiance through the center of Kyiv, a city that Moscow had intended to capture within a few days. A parade of destroyed Russian tanks 1.5 years after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This is the second Independence Day celebrated here since the start of this war.
I feel a great pride for my country, for my people, and most of all, for our armed forces who are defending us.
As a soldier, I feel the pain of losing so many of our guys.
I'm grateful to our warriors and heroes, which include my husband, who has not returned from captivity.
Like last year, there are no large-scale events for fear of a Russian attack to coincide with the holiday that could produce mass casualties. Overnight, a missile landed in a neighborhood in the eastern city of Dnipro, injuring nearly a dozen people. But at about the same time, Ukrainian special forces made an amphibious assault on Russian-controlled Crimea, briefly unfurling once more the national flag. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has promised this week that Crimea will one day be, quote, deoccupied. He delivered a video message to mark Independence Day.
Свято вільних людей, свято сильних людей, свято гідних.
A holiday of free people, of strong people, of people with dignity, of equals. Ukrainian men and women, all of them in our entire country. Today, we celebrate the 32nd anniversary of Ukrainian independence. This is a value of each of us, and this is what we are fighting for.
After 18 months, with war raging just as fiercely as when it began, for most Ukrainians, independence is the freedom that neighbouring Russia seems intent on denying them, making them ever more determined to preserve it at all costs. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Kyiv.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's CFTP2 headline news for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be off for the weekend, but be sure to tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.